Coming up next, is the 9-to-5 job going extinct? And then my colleague, Christy Wright, will join us to talk about starting your business. And we take your calls, and it starts right now. All right, here we go. Coming to you live from Ramsey Solutions Studios in Nashville. You've joined a conversation about who you are, what you were created to do, where you want to do it, and then how to get there. In short, we're going to talk about your purpose and how you can fulfill your purpose in your work, through your work, because we believe you were created to work. Some of you are going, yeah, it's because your context of work is that. But what if I said you were created to contribute, to make this world a better place? Now, all of a sudden, that resonates. Okay, Ken, I'm down with that. So we're going to help you figure that out. What is that role that you were created to fill? Because that means you are needed and you must do it. We're going to help you go from paycheck to purpose. Some of you right now are going, Ken, I just need a bigger paycheck to get out of debt and take care of the stuff I got to take care of. Great. I can help you with that. But in doing so, you can also be walking up that mountain to fulfilling your professional purpose towards that dream job. Some of you are going, Ken, I've got the paycheck. I've had the paycheck. I do want to work on purpose. I want to make a difference in this world through my work. I've got a dream. I'm not quite sure how to get there. Well, all of you are welcome. 844-747-2577 is the number. 844-747-2577. Those of you who want to start a business, or you've recently started a business and you're dealing with, how do I start? When do I start? What's the best way to do it? Some of you started it and you feel like you're alone. My colleague, Christy Wright, joins us. She is the founder of Business Boutique Academy, which is such a great, great, great resource. And I'm excited to have her with us. We're going to also take some of your calls. Those of you that want to start something, and those of you that started something, you want to grow it. So that's coming up later in the program. We're just jam-packed today. But first, I've been telling you folks that COVID-19, the pandemic, has forever changed the work landscape. Some ways we still don't know exactly what that's going to look like. But this idea of, do I work from home? Can I still stay at home? Some are going to say, come back in the office. A lot of businesses are going to say, you never have to come back in. What are the trends? Here's some new data. The Economist has a great article out. I'm going to cite some things. New report from Demos. A British think tank says that there is a nowhere office, both virtual and physical. That means employees are going to move from home to a coffee shop to a co-working space. So it's really not an office as much as there's your block of time. I'm going to get to that a little bit later. A recent report by McKinsey, a consultancy, estimated that 20 to 25% of workers in the rich world could work from home 3 to 5 days a week. That's 4 times the amount of people that worked remotely prior to the pandemic. This McKinsey report also finds that employers are planning to downsize their offices by 30%. Not a surprise. With the onslaught of Zoom and the other technologies out there, and because of the pandemic, companies had to adjust to people working from home. So the reality is they're going, hey, not only can we save money on travel, airfare, hotel for people that travel for business, we can actually save money on our physical space. Companies are always going to look to cut costs to help increase profits. A new Microsoft survey found that 41% of workers were considering leaving their job in the next 12 months. I've also talked about that on this program. I think you're going to see a huge migration. People going, well, I can work from anywhere now. And the only reason I worked for this company is because it was where I needed to live. But now I can go live where I want to live. I'm going to go get a different job that allows me to work remotely. You're going to see a lot of that. One more data point. In a study by the Royal Society of Public Health, 56% of employees said they found it harder to switch off when working remotely. We've talked about that too. When you're at home, you don't have to commute anymore. Some of you were in the car 30 to 45, 60, maybe as many as 90 minutes to and from. Now, your commute is from the kitchen to the office. Harder to turn off when the work is right there, that nagging inbox that just keeps filling up. So boundaries have been a problem during this pandemic, and we're seeing the study. So what's the big takeaway? How is the conversation going to shift that could affect you? I think it's as simple as saying, we're no longer going to be talking to people just about where do you work when we meet people. We have conversation and such. We're not going to just say, where do you work? I think it's going to be an additional question. When do you work? There's already chatter going on in the United States about a 4-day work week. And I think that's going to be a global issue. So no longer is it where do you work, it's when do you work? And I think with efficiencies and technology, now again, I'm not saying this is wholesale going to happen, and I'm also not saying I endorse it. I'm actually not a fan of remote work being the norm and being the only way people engage. I'm just not, because of culture. And that culture is developed through relationships. And people being alone by themselves, only seeing people on another screen. Folks, the impact of that, it's affecting our teenagers who didn't go to school all year. Still some states where kids have not been in the classroom. They've been doing everything via Zoom and via screens. And I got 3 teenagers, okay? Screens are sucking our souls out of our bodies because we don't interact with anybody. And being around someone in their presence, in physical proximity, is far more valuable for a variety of reasons than interacting over a screen. But this is the world we live in. We need to be aware of it so that we can adapt, and that's why I share it with you. 844-747-2577 is the phone number, 844-747-2577. Let's go to Daniel to get us started off today. He's in San Antonio, Texas. Daniel, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hello, sir. How's it going?
I'm living the dream, Daniel. What's up?
Awesome. Let me just explain myself so you can understand the call. So I wanted to be an entrepreneur since I was 16 years old. I've always stuck with the belief of people, the multimillionaires or successful business people have been telling everybody, don't go to college, be self-made. And I've been doing that, but the problem is that I've been having these crappy jobs. I've started things in the past that have failed, and my business now, I've been doing it for 4 years. The thing is that I haven't closed. That's the problem. And I'm doing this all on my own without anything pretty much,
Okay, hold on one second. How old are you?
I am 24 right now.
24, and you said in your business you haven't closed. What do you mean?
So with sales, I can make a conversation, but I haven't actually made any money off of it yet still. So
how long have you been in business without making money?
For about all my life, but
No.
I mean, a little bit.
No. I want to make sure I understand this. You're telling me this current business, you've never gotten anybody to agree to a sale?
No, sir.
Well, that's not a business. That's a really bad hobby. What's the business?
So the business is advertising for gym owners on Facebook and making them more money for them bringing in customers through the door.
Buddy, it's time to move on. 4 years of trying to do this and not closing one deal is a sign from heaven. Might be a sign from hell. I'm not sure. I'm trying to process this. Buddy, I mean, listen, it's time for you to go, what do I really want to do? And really dive in and go, wait, maybe I should go work for somebody else in the business or in the field that I want to be in and learn the ins and outs. There's no reason for you to just stay at it this long trying to sell a Facebook ad for 4 years and not one person has said yes. So I love the fact that you're a young guy, you're 24, you've not wasted any time, you've learned a lot of lessons, sounds like to me, correct?
Yeah, a lot, sir.
Okay, so what do you think you would like to do? Do you want to be in sales? Do you eventually want to have a business around selling digital ads and online stuff? Is that the direction, or is that just something you tried?
I really want to. It's just I've been getting depressed and getting down, and I've been bringing myself down and thinking this is not going to work for me or whatever.
Well, it's not working. What have you been doing for money for 4 years or the last year?
Just been working at these crappy jobs.
Okay.
At fast food places because.
Okay. So here's the deal. What's the business that you would love to have 10 years from now and it'd be rocking? Answer that question, because I think you got plenty of ideas let's just get really, really long term here. What is the big idea that if you knew you couldn't fail at it, you'd try it?
I'll start off with this. So the whole reason that I got into business was because I have actually wanted to do this. I've just been hesitant for different reasons, but this idea I have is to create a comic book store, a movie theater, and a coffee shop together.
Okay, so
actually,
stop. All right, stop.
Yeah.
So here's what you need to do. You need to go work for a comic book store. You said you've had crappy jobs, so another crappy one's not going to hurt you. You need to go work for somebody that's running a successful comic book store. And oh, by the way, you're not going to make much money doing that, which is fine. So you're going to go work for a coffee shop owner who's really crushing it. See, here's the problem. You don't know how to actually run a business, and at 24, you don't have any capital, and you have no experience. So you need to go learn from somebody who's actually doing it well. And by the way, they're paying you to learn how to do it. I agree you don't need to go to college to be a successful entrepreneur, but you better follow somebody and work for somebody and serve somebody who's actually winning in the business that you want to win in. You don't even know what you don't know. And so I want to encourage you. No more crappy jobs. But if you're saying crappy is a low hourly wage, then we need to redefine crappy, because that's you paying your dues. But you can't have this dream of running this multifaceted business with comic books and a movie and coffee. You can't do that. You can't just go do that. 1 in a million, somebody could probably do that. But that's not how you do this. What we do is we go learn how to do the thing that we think we want to do one day. And when we're working hard and we're busting our tail and we're doing cashier and we're sweeping the floor, we're also asking the owner, how do you manage your inventory? How do you determine which comic books? How do you market to people? How do you get foot traffic? That's called getting a master's degree in the form of doing a term paper on the person that you're working for. Same thing with a coffee shop. We don't just go start something like this with any knowledge and without any experience. Now, we got to go get some knowledge. We got to get some experience. And those two things will give you some wisdom down the line as to what to start and when to start. 844-747-2577 is the number. 844-747-2577. Let's go to Alan in Atlanta, Georgia. Alan, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken, how's it going? It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
You bet. How can I help?
Yes, sir. So I got a question for you. All right. So I've been practicing the proximity principle longer than I realized that it was the proximity principle. My ultimate question here today is going to be, I'm going to start backwards. My ultimate question here today is going to be, how do I handle this professionally and respectfully and with the best amount of character? I kind of feel like my character's been attacked a little bit. So my question is, I'm a risk consultant with in the insurance industry, and loving my job. I've worked since 2015 to get here. This is a long-term goal to be at this company doing this job. I'm very excited to be here and just so grateful, and just looking for a growth opportunity. I've been in the role for about 2.5 years. When they hired me, they told me that the specific role I'm doing is a burnout job and to expect to do it for 18 to 24 months, and then opportunities will start coming my way. I've been there 2.5 years. Those opportunities are starting to come up, but then there's an opportunity opened in a kind of a coexisting department where I get to work with bigger clients, bigger accounts, long-term service-based work and that's what I'm passionate about, while what I'm doing right now is very transactional.
Okay, great. So what's your question?
So this morning I know I'm giving too much detail. I'm nervous.
No, you're doing great. But I mean, this sounds really good, but I know there's a but coming, and I want to know what that is.
Yes, sir. So basically, I had a conversation with my supervisor this morning about my development plan and everything, and I told him that I applied for this position on Friday. He was out of the office on Friday, so I called him this morning, and we had that scheduled call anyway first thing in the morning, and told him that, hey, this is something that I'm interested in, and no one ever leaves the company, so whenever these things come open, I feel like I got to apply for it, and I just wanted to let you know that this is something I'm interested in. And he told me I was very disrespectful for not talking to him first, through the internal, and I told him that, I apologized and I didn't mean for it to be disrespectful. I was talking to him today since he was out on Friday when I applied. He told me that out of all the people I've asked for references for the company, and I've done research on this position the past week, talking to all the team members, the hiring manager, everything, and they all think I'm a great fit for the position. My current supervisor said that I'm not ready for the position, and I asked, it was about our development plan anyway today, the conversation. So I asked, what am I missing? And he said experience, and that's just the time in the field doing the work. But I told him that I disagreed with him, and that and I can give him examples of
right.
And I started giving him a speech about service, and that's what runs my heart, and being a servant for others. And
okay.
so basically, I'm sorry. How do I get to what do I need to do as far as the line that got me, and the reason I'm calling you today is this line. He said, I told him I disagreed with his opinion, and he said, I don't care what you think, because when they call me to ask me what they're going to ask me, I'm going to tell them what I'm going to tell them, and it's going to highly influence their decision and your eligibility as a candidate.
Yeah. Well, so what we have here is a straight up personality conflict between the two of you, and this is a pretty awful leader. So I don't think you go backwards. I mean, first of all, you can't take it personal, even though it's very personal. But you've already applied. Number one.
Yes, sir.
He got his britches in a wad because you didn't tell him. I get that. You probably should have told him. You didn't wait. I'm not sure that the response would have been that much different, though.
Yeah.
So have you had personality conflicts with this leader before this moment?
I personally haven't had many over the past few months. I have.
So the answer is yes, you have. You've had issues with this guy before.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is what it is now. There's no going backwards to fix this.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
I just want to I want to maintain a respectful, professional relationship, and I don't want to be the millennial who takes his ball home and you know what I mean? That's not what I'm trying to do.
I get it.
I want to be at.
I get it. So I'm going to tell you what to do. This is very simple. You've already applied, and you said you got all these great references in the company that say you're a great fit for it. This is one person. So you hope the company is wise enough to go, what's going on here? Because I don't think this guy's going to do you any favors. Sounds to me like he's going to torpedo this. So then you got to decide, what do I do then? Because you want to grow. You're at your lid. And so this isn't about you being disrespectful. You can be respectful. But if this guy torpedoes this with you, and I think you got to fight for this position, I would not throw him under the bus. I would be respectful and be nothing but high end with him. But you guys have already had this conflict. So this is going to come down to whether or not the company believes him or these other people. And I'd go to these other people and I just say, hey, I really, really want this. I've had some conflicts in the past. I'm not going to get into that and throw him under the bus, but I really, really want this position. And so you just gotta hope that all those other things stack up and that you get an interview and that you can do this. But you got to take the high road knowing that your time here may be limited, because if you get turned down for this because this dude who you've already had conflicts with torpedoed you, there's no chance. There's zero chance that you're going to stay there. There's no future on this. Some of you are going, well, wait a second, Ken. What if he really works on that relationship? Okay, there's a 0.5% chance, but this isn't healthy. And sometimes we have to realize that difficult people hold us up. So you have one of two options. You either stay and deal with it and hope that it gets better, but you better put a limit on how long you're willing to stay in this role with this lid on you, with this person being the lid, because it's eventually going to turn into some really nasty resentment. But I'd fight like crazy for this position. Like crazy. Not with him, but fight for it. And let's see where the chips fall. Then call me back. I want to know where this goes. This is definitely a callback, Amanda, because I want to see where this thing plays out. If you don't get it, it's not the only dream job. It's not the only opportunity for you. You've got options. So appreciate the call. 844-747-2577. Coming up, my colleague Christy Wright joins me in studio. We're going to have a great conversation. Help those of you that want to start a business or you've recently started one and you need some help, because we're going to open up the phones so she can talk directly to you. Don't move. This is the Ken Coleman Show.
Our world is changing, but so are we. Now, we see a smile through someone's eyes. We conquer our struggles and cherish each moment because we're shielded through faith and assured by hope. And greatest of all, we love. The world is different, but so are we.
All right, welcome back to the Ken Coleman Show, coming to you live from Ramsey Solutions Studios in Nashville. So excited that you've joined us. If you're new to the program, we are helping you figure out what you were born to do and then come up with a plan to get there. And I'm very excited to have my colleague and best-selling author, Christy Wright. She's also the founder of Business Boutique, which is a wildly popular event. Then the Academy, which we're going to talk more about, Business Boutique Academy. And, of course, she is the host of the Christy Wright Show as a part of the Ramsey Solutions Network. And specifically, we're going to open up the phone lines here. We're going to take your calls. For those of you who say, I got this idea and I'm stuck. I haven't started it yet. For those of you who have started and it's in those early embryonic stages, or maybe you started it and you're going, but you feel like you're dragging. You feel like you're alone, we are going to jump in, and she's going to take some calls with me here on the show. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Again, the phone number, 844-747-2577, 844-747-2577. Christy,
hey,
welcome.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
This studio is so cool. It's so fun to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to have you here because we get a lot of these calls. We have a lot of people that are listening, specifically a lot of women. Shockingly, I'm very excited for how many women listen to the show.
That's awesome.
Because they help a lot of the men in their life, and then they've got a specific thing that they're thinking about. So let's just start with, you've got somebody that's listening right now, Christy, and they're going, I've got a bunch of ideas. Or maybe I've got 2 or 3 ideas that I cannot get rid of. They just won't leave.
Yeah.
But they're just intimidated, rightfully so, by going, okay, I think I've got a couple of mountain ideas, but I have no earthly idea how in the world I could ever scale this mountain and just start the business, let alone succeed.
Yeah.
What do you say to that person who's dealing with that emotion and then that reality?
Well, it's interesting, and it's so similar, I think, to what you teach, Ken, as well, when you're helping people find their sweet spot. But for someone that is got a million ideas, and all entrepreneurs and creatives are like this. We have 100 ideas a day, and all of them are brilliant, right? So we're like, which one do I act on? They're all so good.
Yes.
I help them narrow them down. So what is going to be, if we're looking, for example, to have just some extra money, pay off debt, we just want to use our gifts, it's more of a short-term play, then I say, what's your quickest win idea? What is the thing that you could start tomorrow and earn cash quickly? So you're going to start with your stuff, your skills, and your strengths. Start with what you already have. When you start with what you already have, you make it so much easier on yourself to win and make money in the business quickly, and that's going to build your confidence and your cash flow. So if this is a shorter-term play, then I tell them to start with what they have. Now, if you want to have a long-term vision, if I want to run a business long-term, then you're going to think a little bit further out. It may be a longer runway, and you say, okay, I'm going to base this idea on this idea is going to get me to where I want to be in 3, 5, or 10 years because this is what I want to do forever. It's not just a short-term, get some cash idea. So depending on why you start and what you want this business to do for you will really determine your strategy. But most people, it starts small, it starts on the side, it starts as, I just need some extra cash, I want to get my income up, maybe I'll turn it into something full-time, and many people do. And in that case, I want quick wins. I want you to start with the lowest hanging fruit, something you enjoy doing. You talk about this all the time, that you're also good at and you could start tomorrow. And so I love helping people figure out what that is so that they can make money and build their confidence faster.
All right, so good. She is Christy Wright. Again, Business Boutique Academy is how she does that. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. Let's talk about the person who has started. they're out there. We're going to take some calls. So it looks like we've got some calls that are coming in on this. But they're just in that emotional pit. Where, the practical tools are there.
Yeah.
And we'll take some calls and do that. But what's the emotional advice you give to somebody who's going, I did it, I started, I know it, but it's just not taking off. Maybe I've put too much financial pressure on it. It's not delivering what I need, and I'm just down.
Yeah. Well, business is a roller coaster, right? We know this.
Yeah.
I think we think it's going to be this perfect path to success, and it's more like this, and it's ups and downs.
Sure.
It's really high highs and really low lows. One of the things that can help you stay focused through those tough times is just knowing your why. And you talk about this. There's so many parallels between what we do, Ken. That's why I love working with you. But knowing why you do it will inform how you do it, and it will get you through those valleys. But the other thing you need is you're not just going to sit around and go, oh, well, I just hope it gets better. Do something different.
Yeah.
Get outside help. Find actual strategies that are going to help you. So, for example, one of the things I love helping business owners figure out, whether you're new to business or you've been in business for years, many of them don't understand or can't articulate the problem that they solve. And this is the most important piece of information that you can know about your business. And let's talk about why. This is really tactical. When you know the problem you solve through your business, you know so many other important pieces of information about your business. You know your target market. Your target market are people that have that problem. Yep. You know your value proposition. This is why you're going to charge. You're going to charge for solving that problem. And you even know your marketing language, because what are you going to talk about on social media or at networking events? You're going to talk about how you solve that problem. So I love helping business people. If they're starting out with an idea, it's like, okay, I see your idea. What problem do you solve? Or I've been in business for years, but it's not taking off. Okay, let's go back to the problem you're solving and figure out how to communicate that better or be a little bit more strategic in our marketing with it.
I love it. All right, you ready to take some calls?
Let's do it, yeah.
It's more fun talking to people.
I love it.
Than at people. We're going to go to Jessica, who's joining us on the line in Milton, New Hampshire. Jessica, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. Hi, Christy.
Hey, how's it going? How can we help?
Great. So I am struggling. I would like to start my own business doing voicemail recording and voiceover greetings.
Okay.
And I'm scared. And what my fear is I am afraid to contact the owner of the business who I connected with really well, who no longer owns that business. So that's why I'm calling today.
Let me get a little bit more detail here before Christy weighs in. So the owner, are you hoping to buy this business or take over her current customer base? What's the reason for calling?
Sure. Well, she has currently sold the business already to her competition. And I was working for her about 10 years ago, and she was very willing to show me every step of the process as to how to run her business way back then, because I had such a heart and a passion for what they do there.
Okay, and so you're going to call her and ask her what?
Well, I want to ask her how to do voiceover greetings and how to do voicemail recordings.
Yeah, you want her basically to do what she said she'd do a few years ago, right?
Yes.
All right, Christy, take it away.
Okay, one question for you, Jessica, and I love questions like this because I love to dig into it. What are you afraid of?
Oh, I'm afraid of the word no. I'm afraid of the word no, or that she's not going to want to work with me. However, we really, really connected way back when, and I know I can call her anytime and say, hey, could you record my voicemail messages? And she'll say absolutely, and she'll record them for me and send them to me. So I did speak to her about 6 months ago, and she did record my voicemail messages. And, that question of, hey, I really liked working for you when I did. I remember you said you were going to show me every step of the process, to be able to record voicemail messages for people. Can you still help me with this? And I'm so afraid to even ask that question.
Because you're afraid of hearing no.
Yes.
But you just said she won't say no, right? Like I think that's exactly what she just said. She said, but I know she'll help me. See, the reason I want to dig into this, Jessica, and I'm so grateful for your transparency and vulnerability, because you are articulating what so many people feel, and that is fear. And the fear is real. It's not that you're just imagining this, that your palms sweat, your heart races, you get nervous at the thought of calling her, even though your mind knows that she's going to help you. Your mind also knows that if she does say no, which is very unlikely, but if she did, you can still do this a different way. This is not the end of the story for you. Now, one of the things that I get asked a lot, Jessica, is similar question to yours is it fear or wisdom? Is it fear holding me back from making this call, starting this business or whatever? Or is it wisdom, like, oh, that's a red flag, don't go down that path? And the reason, the way that I always discern between the two for people is I say, what are you afraid of? And if you can't really articulate it, it's like, oh, I don't know, it just feels scary. That's fear that you can and should push through. I tell people all the time, don't wait until you're not scared to do the thing you want to do. You do it while you're scared. The antidote to fear is action. Nothing will silence your fear of doing the thing like doing the thing, so go do the thing. Now, if you were to tell me, here's some very logical reason of like, well, I shouldn't start a business or I shouldn't do this business because this season of my life and my kids and my husband's deployed. And okay, well, that might be wisdom. You've got actual reasons that we're going to need to pay attention to and consider. But if you can't answer the question, I don't know, I'm just scared of no, I'm scared of rejection. That's one of those things that I just want to challenge you, Jessica. You have to fake it until you feel it. You pick up the phone, even if your hand is shaking when you hold the phone, and you call her anyway. And guess what will happen, Jessica? You will survive it. You will survive that phone call. She will very likely say, yes, it's so good to hear from you. That fear loses its power over you. That voice is silenced. Your confidence goes up. And the next time you need to make a phone call, you go, oh, I can do this because I did it before and I can do it again. So I just want to challenge you. I know that fear is real. I have felt that fear before. I still feel it when I'm doing something new or scary, but you don't have to wait until you're not scared. Fear is not a bad sign. You shouldn't do it. You know what you need to do. You just need to do it. And I would love it. I don't know if we can do this, Ken, on your show. Can I send her a copy of my book, Business Boutique?
Well, of course we can.
Okay, Jessica, chapter 2 on Business Boutique is all about fear. It's the longest chapter of the book. I spent the most time talking about fear because so many people struggle with this. So stay on the line, and we will send you a
Jessica,
copy to help you too.
Before we do this, Christy's absolutely right. But Jessica, what you got to do is you got to understand, is fear protecting you? That's what she's saying with this wisdom thing, or is fear holding you back? And so just put it on trial. What if she says no? What is the absolute worst thing that happens if she goes, no, I'll do your voiceovers for you, but I'm not going to transfer my wisdom? Tell me, what's the worst possible thing, Jessica?
The worst possible thing is that I'll just simply have to figure it out myself on how to do it.
And you can.
And
you will.
And here's the other worst possible thing. You're going to feel rejected. Your feelings are going to be hurt. True?
True.
Absolutely true. So let's look at this. Is she going to make fun of you and reject you and say, I never want you to call me again? You have overstepped the boundary of our previous relationship. Is that going to happen?
Which is highly unlikely.
Is that going to happen?
Doubtful. No.
It's not going to happen. No. So that's what you're afraid of. So in this situation, if my kid gets close to the fire and sticks his hand out and feels how hot it is and backs up, is fear protecting my kid? Absolutely. Yeah. Because he could get burned. You're not going to get burned on this. The worst that could happen is you got to figure it out and go do the thing that you already know you should do and can do. So let's just own this and let's play the fear out. Write it down. What is fear saying? Put it on the witness stand. Is that true or is it false? Because sometimes fear is protecting us, and it is a good thing. And that's wisdom, as Christy said so eloquently. But I'm telling you, folks, we've got to step into this thing and really figure out, what in the world am I actually afraid of? Because our kids have all called us in the room, Christy, and said, there's a monster under the bed. And our kids believed in that moment
100%.
That there was a monster under the bed. But then when I go underneath the bed and come back out alive, they go, oh, I can now rest.
Right.
And they go to sleep immediately. So that's what we're discussing. We cannot just kind of and deal with our emotions. We've got to actually get some facts in there.
Ken, one thing I would add to Jessica's call with this client that I'm confident she's going to do, right, Jessica? I'm confident.
Absolutely.
Is you could just say that. It's okay. You can just say that. You can say, hey, Sue, or whatever her name is, I'm a little nervous right now.
Yeah.
We haven't talked in a long time. And I'll be honest, like I wasn't sure how to approach this, but here's what you said, and here's what I'd love to do. But if this is out of bounds, let me know. I was nervous to call, but I just wanted to reach out because I really love to do this. Just be honest.
Let me tell you something. That right there is vulnerability,
Yeah,
which is very
people love
attractive.
that.
And here's the other thing. To Christy's point, she did tell you she'd do it, so start with that. Hey, a couple years ago you said you'd do it. I don't want to infringe and go with the Christy approach on that. That's going to be beautiful because here's the deal. Now you're taking the elephant in the room.
Yes.
Which you think is an elephant, and they don't even see the elephant.
Just own it.
Yeah, that's really good.
I love it.
844-747-2577. Now we go to Chicago, where we go to Lisa. Lisa, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. Hi, Christy.
Hi.
What's your question?
So I have a 9-to-5, and I want to run a business also. And there's a cafe down the street that's for lease, and I've always loved food. I would love to do something with that. It makes me happy when people get food that, makes them happy. I also know of someone who owns a bakery for the proximity lead-in, and the location is near a commuter train in a kind of cute neighborhood that has other small businesses as well. But this is something I've never done before, and I was wondering what to do to test the viability of that opportunity.
Yeah, let me ask a real quick question for Christy here. Is this for sale right now? And then do you have the actual capital to do this, experience aside?
So I believe it's for lease. It's not for sale. It's within a larger building.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Go ahead, Christy.
The business itself is for lease, or the space is for lease?
The space.
Yeah, so you're looking to, do I make the financial decision on this space to do this business that I have no experience in?
You're going to start your own business. You're not buying an existing business. I just want to clarify that piece of it.
Right. So it's actually been closed since December of 2019.
What was closed? A previous business in there?
So that's one thing I don't know. It was a cafe, and it seemed pretty popular, but it closed even before the pandemic. So maybe that's one thing that I'm not sure about, how to go about finding out, okay, exactly what happened. Is there something that I don't know about that makes it not such a great location, even though everything on the surface, with it being near a commuter train, seems to point to it being a good location,
Okay.
So I wasn't sure how to go about finding out that kind of thing.
Yes. Okay, Lisa, I'm going to give you several tactical things that you can do, because this is a big question, and there's a lot you can do to move in this direction without making this a really bad decision where you just have this Jerry Maguire moment, you grab the goldfish and walk out on your steady paycheck. We don't want you to do that, okay? So here's what I want you to do. First, I definitely want you to find out why the business closed. Do some digging, be a stalker on Facebook, the internet, Google, whatever you have to do, find out why it closed. Reach out to the previous owner, whatever. Just call. Just say, hey, I'm curious what's going on. The second thing I want you to do is I want you to get a part-time job at a coffee shop. If a coffee shop or cafe, bakery is what you want to do, get a part-time job there. It's just like Ken teaches. It's going to get your feet wet of seeing the behind the scenes. It's no longer theory. You're actually in the trenches, feeling what they feel, dealing with what they're dealing with, and you're going to get exposure to it. The third thing, after you figure out why that closed and you get some more information on the space, the terms, the cost, again, we don't want you to take out debt, so whatever kind of money you have to actually do this. The third thing that I want you to do, and this is really important, I want you to come up with a 1.0 version of your idea. Okay, the iPhone, we're on the iPhone what now, Ken? 11, 12, something?
I think 12, but I don't even know.
We started with iPhone 1.
Yeah.
It did not do with the iPhone 3 or 5 or so. Business is a conversation in the marketplace. And so what I want you to do is I want you to come up with a baby version of your idea. It's not going to involve this big lease commitment, all this upfront money, building out a space, hiring a team, leaving your full. No. How can you sublease a corner or a window of an existing bakery with your new unique something, and you pay them 1% of the profits, and you do it in the evenings, on the weekends, on the side? Low risk, low commitment, low cost, to prove the concept, prove to yourself that you can do it, and learn about the business.
Let me ask
in the
this.
process.
Lisa, what is the let's just assume you were successful tomorrow, you couldn't fail. What would you be offering? Is this multiple baked goods? What's the offering?
Baked goods and tea.
Baked goods and tea.
Breads, pies, that kind of stuff?
That's more so thinking in terms of cupcakes.
Okay.
I'm really inspired by Mignon Francois.
Oh,
Yes, we love
fantastic.
Mignon.
Okay, so hold on. I'm setting Christy up to give you a little bit more advice. But so here's what I want to know. I want to know your top 3 things that you, and I want you to brag here, all right? Don't go humble on us. What are the top 3 baked goods that Lisa would be proud of if I came to your house and said, I'm going to sample your top 3 items, Lisa, I'm your focus group. What would be the 3 things that you would offer first?
I would say, well, brownies.
Okay.
I can do gluten-free, cooking, baking, and let's see. I guess the idea is not necessarily that it will be my recipes, my products, but I will be the business owner.
Okay, so that's why I pressed her on that. So Christy, go back to item number 3 because I thought that was incredible advice. When you get that baby idea, with what she's telling you now, how does that baby offering
Well,
look?
you start small, you grow slow with very little risk and cost while you still have your full-time job. Ken, this is what my mom did. Speaking of bakery, Lisa, this is what my mom did. She had $64 to her name.
Yeah.
She went to a candy shop, and there was a front showcase window where she started her little bakery and made cupcakes, just like you're saying, Lisa. But the business grew from there, and with that cash, she put it back into the business and continued to grow till she had her own storefront, and then had other people baking for her, and she managed it.
Yeah.
But you start small on the side. I've got another example, a lot of baking examples. My friend Jake started a cookie business on the side. It was evenings and weekends. It was hot cookie delivery down by Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
And he took a commercial kitchen that only operated in the day, said, can I have your after hours? So it's just extra income for them.
How
But
many cookies? I'm curious. Do you know how many cookies he started with? Varieties is my point.
Yes, he did start with about like 3 to 5, very few.
I just
Very
think
few,
now
yeah.
I want to know if you agree with it, but that's where I was going.
Totally.
It's like go with brownies, your favorite cupcake, and one other item. What people tend to do is we want to go with 16 different offerings, and that gets intimidating. It's like, no. Let's get really good at blowing people's minds with brownies. I mean the type of brownie, Christy, that if you put it on top of my head, my tongue would beat my brains out trying to get to it.
That is a visual. That's a real visual.
Well, it is, but isn't that what we got to prove first?
It is, and I think the interesting thing, and you see this in business all the time, we don't want to take baby steps, Ken.
No.
We don't want to start with 3
We wanna
flavors.
be
We don't want to
impresarios.
start on this side and this small. No, we want to have this giant leap. I'm doing it. I'm going for it. And the Jerry Maguire. No. Here's the thing. I want you to own it and have less stress and more control and prove the concept and bring income into the business, but also build your confidence by figuring out what's right along the way. And the best way I could summarize this for you guys is the impressive things in life always start as unimpressive things. So start with a couple flavors on the side in the evenings, subleasing, take a part-time job in a bakery.
Yeah.
Dave started this business on a card table in his living room. My mom started in a front showcase window with a couple of cupcakes. Start small, and then you will learn what you need to do next. And the business then will, the income will then, it will grow and pay for itself.
Yeah, and just one little thing here. This is way down in the weeds, but with what Chrissy's talking about, you want to get some momentum to keep you in the game. Start taking those brownies around to key influencers and places
there's
that you
all
may
kinds
know.
of marketing things you can do.
And just get somebody to eat that brownie. Now, I'll tell you, you can send brownies to us here at the Ken Coleman Show.
We will absolutely sample
I
your
have
brownies,
said
Lisa.
this. I will eat the brownie. Now, I will not officially endorse it, but I will
unofficially
say
endorse it.
how great it is. I won't tell anybody where to go. I'm not going to start doing that to turn into a circus. But I'll eat
You're
the
going
brownies.
to get a lot of shipments this week of brownies.
if I need to be the screener,
I will do
and
this
the
for you.
confidence booster for people beyond the advice I give, I will eat your food. Amanda, you just let everybody know. They can send it here. Maybe we'll get a new part of the website, and we'll just kind of
send Ken your food sample.
Ken recommends. You know what I mean? I kid.
Oh my gosh.
So Christy is
small.
all about equipping women and men doing what they love. I know this. I've watched her do this. So whether it's a side hustle, full-time business, or you're just getting started, you've been doing it for years and you want to scale up, Christy can help you get where you want to be. The Business Boutique Academy is how she does it. Explain what it is, how people engage, and how they jump in, because we're opening it up. Limited time only, I'm told.
Yeah, this is my coaching group. So this is a group of women that I do group trainings with, live coaching every single month. weekly curriculum. I have training videos in our video training library. But basically, Ken, I just get in their business with them because you know how it is. We can speak on stages to large audiences, but you can't get in their business in the details with them. And so what we do is we only open twice a year, and we get this new class that comes in of Academy members, and then I walk with them for the next 6 months. And so we open today. We close on Thursday at 8 p.m. Yes, we really close. No, you really can't get in until fall again. But this is an opportunity for anybody that wants to come into my coaching group and have me coach you in these live group sessions every single week, every single month through the next 6 months. And so it's really fun. It's a really, really cool group in the community and camaraderie when we lock arms and chase our different dreams together.
Folks, you call me, you're listening, because some of you are going, I need to decide. Is it time for me to start this thing on the side? And the answer is, why don't you talk to Christy? You've had the idea. You know how to measure whether or not it's in your sweet spot. Are you good at it? Do you love the work? Does it create a result that matters to you? If the answer is yes, why don't you sign up? It's very simple. ChristyWright.com/academy, ChristyWright.com/academy, and then she could coach you through how to do it. But if you've been listening to me and you're walking it through, hey, is this something that's in my sweet spot? In other words, I was created to do something like this. Well, then you don't need to talk to me anymore. You need to start it, and you need to get it going. And the best way to do that is with a coach helping you get started and walking you through it. ChristyWright.com/academy, ChristyWright.com/academy. Open now, and April 22nd, it's closing, and then you're going to have to wait. Don't be full of regret. Jump on this. Go to the website. Talk to them. I'm sure they can answer questions for them, whether or not. Okay, so you're not going to be force-fed into this thing, but I'm telling you, I would do it if I were you. All right, so what are we waiting on? Jump on it. ChristyWright.com/academy. Christy, this is fun.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Do you ask people to send you in if there are people that you're coaching and they're in the bakery business? Do you get the free samples?
Oh, I get samples of everything you can imagine, and it's really creative stuff. So it's like all my kids have had wonderful baby gifts from all their Etsy shops, and then we've got bakery.
This is a little awkward. You sit about 15 feet away from me. Would it kill you to bring in something?
I mean, I
don't notice. I don't remember you bringing them in.
I do hide them when I see you walk in. I'm like, oh, let's hide the stash.
I don't recall Christy coming in and going, hey, you want to try this? One of my coaching clients. I don't recall you sharing the love, so
I'm gonna
leave it at that.
I'm going to make a call to my Academy members. Can we send some cookies today, please?
No, I kid. It's really, really fun. Tell folks what you love most about doing the coaching that you do and engaging with women and men, quite frankly, in this business boutique business space. What do you love so much about it?
For some reason, right when you started asking that question, like I felt my eyes well up. I feel so embarrassed.
Why?
It's just seeing
make people cry all the time. I'd like to see you cry.
I didn't see this coming.
Oh, let's keep it on. Keep the camera on close up in case she cries.
Watch. It's seeing the transformation in their belief in themselves.
Yeah.
It's they make more money, and they grow their business, reach their goals. We've got testimonies for days.
Sure.
But they come in, they're like, I don't know if I can do it. Like Jessica, I don't know if I can do it.
Right.
And then after a little bit of spending some time and helping them understand what they're doing, how to do it, it builds their confidence and their belief in themselves. Like, I can't believe I'm doing this. I can't believe it's working. I can't believe I'm helping people. I can't believe I quit my full-time job after building this up. And watching that transformation, and this is a silly example, but I used to work at Young Life camps, and I was a horse wrangler, and the teenagers would come in, and some teenagers were really scared of the horses. And you could work with those kids to get them comfortable to get on the horse and ride. And after spending some time with them, you'd see them, and they're like, their face lights up, and they're so excited because they're doing the thing they didn't think they could do. And I see that same transformation in the Women Through Business Boutique. And gosh, it's such a gift to watch their face change, their tone change, and really just their belief in themselves change. Yeah.
Love it. She is the host of the Christy Wright Show. Part of the Ramsey Solutions Network, my colleague and dear friend, ChristyWright.com, to engage in everything that she's doing. She's going to be coming back. We're going to get her in here on a semi-regular business when she's not wrangling her own 3 little ones at home. But it's always good to have you in here. I appreciate you coming by.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thanks so much, Kim.
All right, folks, my time is almost up. But before I let you go, I want you to remember you matter, and you do have what it takes. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, this is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.